No, I might have your tape. I'll have to dig through it, but it's probably just in the lump sum.
Whatever. If you see
Okay.
it, great.
Okay, so you want to talk about the hat? First off, let's just say also, second week with an Asian guest.
Wait, what?
Last week I had Peter Wong, and now I have Chris Metcalfe.
Am I Asian?
Today you are. We're going for diversity, all right? Because I'll tell you one thing: the TikTok algorithm doesn't like me.
Yeah, dude. You don't fit the mold of what the TikTokers want.
No, dude. Okay, I might have to. They don't listen. I have this coworker come up to me today. She's like, well, first of all, everyone outed me as a comic. Now my whole company knows. 850 people know I'm a comic. So she's like, any chance you know this guy? He's blowing up right now. Troy Bond.
I don't know.
Oh, you don't even know who he is.
No.
He used to do Broadway. I think he does like New Talent. He hosts New Talent at Gotham.
Troy.
Yeah.
With the he's like half black.
He's
that
something.
kid?
He's tan.
Yeah, he's not white.
Not white.
I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
he's doing modern
Yeah.
Seinfeld on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's the exact reaction I had. She's like, what does that mean? And I was like, sit down. You're going to learn a little comedy lesson.
Oh, no. You started giving her inside ball.
You wanted to bring it up? Let's talk about the hosting pay at clubs, all right?
Oh, no. You laid it on.
And she was like, this is a lot of
Did her
information.
head fall off? Yeah.
I was like, okay, does this teach you a lesson? Don't bring up comedy around me.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what you want to hear, what you
Dude.
don't want to hear.
Part of the reason I never bring it up to people at work, or even if I've gone on it's not in any of my dating profiles that I do stand up.
Interesting.
I've gone on full dates and hooked up with women, and they never even knew I was a stand up comedian. They just think I'm a sales guy.
Chris, that's not that impressive.
I'm not trying to say it's impressive.
You had drinks with another person for 3 hours, put yourself into them, and you're like, and that whole time, didn't even know I do open mics. That's the least impressive thing I've ever heard.
It wasn't trying to be impressive. It was just to illustrate the point that, like, I don't go around telling people, partly for the reason of you getting into it with that girl about the
I get that, but you implied that you're like some sort of Batman. You're like,
Well,
they
it is
didn't even
kind
know
of
the whole
funny.
time.
It is like such a huge part of my life, and then you're just like, I don't know, you're just like, don't reveal it to anybody.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Oh, okay.
It wasn't trying to be impressive. I just thought it was funny.
I know. I'm trying to make a joke out of nothing. That's the point of the pod.
It's a whole bunch of nothing.
It's a whole bunch of nothing. Should we start doing modern Seinfeld on here?
Jesus
You could
Christ.
be George. You come into the door, and you're like, I figged her.
Bro, I do like voices and shit, and but I don't do like impressions of other people.
No, because it's hack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you're doing like another comedian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're a comedian. I've seen comedians on stage do impressions of other comedians.
I mean, there's that one guy on TikTok. There's 2 people on TikTok that exclusively do impressions of other stand-ups.
Right.
They got more followers
It's a
than
niche.
me.
It's a niche.
They figured something out I didn't. But the worst is then she starts like giving me recommendations on how to get more. She's like, you know what you should do? You should do like crypto jokes. I was like, can you shut up?
She's giving you buzzwords. She's giving you buzz topics.
I was like, I went like this. I went, hey, I'd rather kill myself. I'd rather kill myself than do that. And she was like, oh, okay. I was like, I'm not kidding either. I'd rather put a knife in my neck than be the crypto joke guy. That's a hell I don't want to live in.
Well, I feel like what's his name's got a pretty good. Dan Pizzella's got a fun thing going.
It's fun. It's fun. It's more fun than any idea I've had.
And I'll say this because he said it to me, and I'm not revealing anything that couldn't be seen in 2 seconds. But the disparagement between
insane.
his stand-up clips and his European. For people listening or watching, our friend Dan Pizzella, fabulous stand-up comedian, so funny, and then he started doing this thing on TikTok where it's like a European guy. He wears the scarf and like whatever, does like some news headline perspective thing and does like a European view, and then it cuts like to the American view.
Yes.
And it's funny, and it like is huge, and people love it. But if you watch him do stand up, he's not doing a European guy.
No, he's doing just like good stand-up. It's just genuinely good stand-up.
Yeah,
and people are like, nope.
Yeah.
Not that. Put a scarf on, you bitch. He's like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's so funny.
That was my morning. I was like, sit down.
Let me tell you something.
Sit down right here. You're about to fucking learn everything about the comic strip that I did.
Bro. Wait, you want me to tell you about this hat?
Yeah, okay.
So
let's talk about
we get
the
down a dark hole of stand-up shit talking.
Let's talk about the hat. So we'll start with mine. Mine's an Islanders hat. Chris, you talk about your hat.
This is a cocaine bear hat. This is a hat in homage to a bear that overdosed on 35 kilos of cocaine in the woods of Tennessee.
Okay.
Which is a rippling effect of something known as the Bluegrass Conspiracy, which in short is basically a bunch of dirty cops from the South that were drug smuggling or smuggling cocaine and other drugs from Colombia back up to like
drug smuggling
the South.
Yep.
Back in like the 70s and the 80s, and they dropped this bag of cocaine out of one of the planes because they had to like jump out of one of the planes.
The
with
cops
parachutes.
were flying the planes?
Well, they were like dirty cops, you know. So they were like.
So they had their pilot's license.
I don't even know all the details, but basically, like the guy died in this operation. I forget the guy's name. They're actually making a movie about it. Johnny Knoxville's playing the.
Oh, really?
Playing the guy, yeah.
All right.
And I was at this place I was in Lexington, Kentucky recently, and the bear that
came through the town.
Died of the cocaine was taxidermied, and they had this bear at the because the main guy, the guy who died jumping out of the plane with all the cocaine and shit on his last like drug smuggle run, he was from Lexington, Kentucky. So
they got
their
bear.
whole like they got the bear and
Okay, I don't know if the logic points out there.
What do you mean?
The guy's from Lexington that died, so they're like, all right, send the bear.
Well, I guess like a lot of the origin story and shit starts in Lexington, and like that's where like the guy's from and like all this shit, and the story took place in like various locations, but yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I thought your hat because it says cocaine bears. I thought it was like finance gays.
Like some city like
Yeah, it's just like, no, my hat's actually about a gay guy, big hairy gay guys that work in Chicago finance.
No, it's literally just about this is in reference to a bear that died from eating too much cocaine. Apparently they found the bear and there was so much coke packed in its stomach that like there was nothing else left. They couldn't put anything more on the bear. Like it was packed to the gill. It just ate all this coke.
How much?
35 kilograms. Or kilos.
Is that a lot? It sounds like a lot.
That's a lot. It's like pounds of weed or pounds of cocaine.
How much does an average person? How much coke does an average person carry? Like, what is a regular amount of coke?
Like, if you're just some like whatever weekender person, I don't know. They get like a gram of coke. I don't know, but like I went to college with guys who'd be like, "Yeah, bro, let's get an 8-ball."
What's an 8-ball?
Like 3.5 grams.
3.5 grams.
Yeah. Of coke.
Okay.
But like a kilo, that's like, bro, that's a brick of cocaine.
That's a big, okay.
Yeah. So
and the bear ate
35
it.
of those. And the bear ate all of it.
Okay.
I would have loved to have seen that bear, like, just like, oh, they're looking for me. You know, he's like getting paranoid.
Just became a really good day trader.
Yeah.
It's like, you gotta see my P&L spreadsheet.
Yeah. He's chatting it up with a rock too much. He's real talky. Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, we knew he was on coke because he was sniffling a lot.
Well, I think they found it dead, and then they were like, what?
Oh,
like someone came upon this bear just like OD'd, because I don't think you find a lot of bears like that.
You would imagine, no.
Right. So I think someone just found the bear and was like, and I guess whatever the powers that be did like an autopsy on the bear, and they're like, this bear's filled with cocaine.
They just found it at Pacha.
Yeah.
It's just on the floor. They're like, we have a feeling this
Yeah.
bear. Who let this bear in?
Who let this bear into the box?
Guys, they call the bouncers over? Did you check all the IDs? And then they find out it's a fake ID. The bear's using a fake ID. And they're like, I swear to God, it scans.
I swear to God, I thought it was a human. Yeah.
You're going to look at that bear and tell me.
I don't know, with all the transitioning going on.
With all the Armenians we let in here?
Oh, yeah. Bro, yeah, fucked up, dude. Yeah, that's a shitty way to die.
Cocaine overdose?
Yeah, dude.
But your heart just explodes.
I would imagine, yeah, or you have like a heart attack or something.
You think it's painful?
I think it's probably very stressful.
Oh, to say the least.
Yeah. I don't know how like painful it is. Like on the scale of ways to die, it's probably not the most painful, but it's probably like a high anxiety way to die. Not fun.
You just gotta like, what does that feel like? Because your heart's a muscle. It pops.
Yeah, so your heart's just like boop, 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 and then you're sweating. Like to do that much cocaine, like I don't know. You either have to have like a pre-existing condition, which I think is like how I think a lot of people like die from overdosing on cocaine. Like you got to do like a lot of cocaine, I think, to like really like.
I would, or fentanyl. What if the bear? What was it? Fentanyl was?
No, this is the good coke back in like
this
the
is the 70s. Yeah, this is Pablo Escobar.
This ain't no
stuff.
fentanyl shit.
Say what you want about Pablo Escobar. He never laced it. It was always pure.
Right. Well, it wasn't them that did the cutting. It was always once it got into the United States. Every time there was a handoff is when the coke would begin to get cut. The coke was never. I bet you even now the coke's not cut. Like when the coke's coming from wherever its origin is, like in Mexico or South America, like I don't think they're putting cut cocaine on an airplane. I think they're putting real cocaine on an airplane, and then whoever gets their hands on it, they then do their distribution. And then the next guy gets it, and he's like, well, now I'm going to cut it. And then another guy gets it, and then he's going to cut it.
So Pablo Escobar and whoever runs it now are essentially like the Costco of drugs.
Correct. Yeah.
But doesn't I don't know. I've rarely encountered coke in my life. Doesn't it fall apart? Like how could you put it on a plane and not cut it? It's like chalk. It would just break up.
Well, when I say cut it, I mean like cut it with other drugs.
Ooh.
Like I mean like
industry terms. I'm not familiar.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was a club promoter for mad years, dude.
Were you really?
I was for 1 year.
Hold the phone. You were a club promoter?
It was like freshman year of college. I did it like barely. I really just used it as an excuse to like get free drinks at the bar.
For that place in New Haven?
Yeah, this place. It was like Hula Hanks or something like that.
Oh, I don't know. What's the big place in
shithole.
New Haven?
Toads.
Yep. That's what I was thinking
Toads. Yeah.
It wasn't for Toads.
No.
You club promoted your freshman year at Quinnipiac?
It was like these two dudes that I was friends with, and they were like, bro, they're paying us to like hand out fucking flyers, and they give us free drinks.
And that's when you knew, I'm going to do comedy.
I was
You're telling me I can hand out flyers to get free drinks?
Yeah.
Let me do this forever.
Yeah. It was my calling.
That's fun.
But yeah, I did that. Wait, why did I bring that? Oh yeah, because of cutting it up. Yeah, because I meant like, well, yeah, it's like dust.
Coke is.
It's like powder.
Is it all dust?
I mean, it's like
it's
rocky.
A brick, though.
You can like compress it into like a rock sort of formation, but it's like you can just break it. It's not like it's not hard. You're right. It's like chalk.
It's like chalk, right? Yeah.
It's not as dense, but yes.
Oh, it's less dense than chalk. Chalk's not that dense. It can float, I think.
I don't know I don't know the buoyancy of cocaine. Get this bear.
Throw it into the water. Let's see what happens. Salem witch trial, the bear.
Yeah, I don't know. So when I mean cut, I mean like that's when they're putting like baby lax, like whatever the fuck they put, baking soda.
Why, just to cut costs? Is that the reason?
Yeah,
why?
yeah. If you have 1 kilo and you can turn 1 kilo into 2 kilos.
Just by adding, okay.
By adding
I get it.
Some stuff. And then I think at some point, somewhere along the way, lately, people have been adding fentanyl. Because they're like, oh, this is like it will get people high, but it's also cheaper than pure cocaine, so we cut
Interesting.
it with some fentanyl. But they're putting, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I had a buddy I went to college with died fentanyl overdose, and I don't know his family, but apparently his brother was like, "Oh no, he was just allergic to something in the coke," and I was like, "Oh yeah," because I never encountered.
Fentanyl.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Everyone's allergic to fentanyl. I've never encountered a drug dealer before, but I feel like you don't go like, "Oh yeah, can I have a gram of coke?" Does that have shellfish in it by any chance? Is there any peanut butter? Was this manufactured in the same plant as macadamia nuts?
Bro, I knew guys that would they would have drug test kits. And they would test.
Well, that's becoming a thing now, right?
Well, especially now with all this fentanyl thing going around.
If you have to start testing your drugs, don't do the drugs. At what point, at what level of chemistry do you have to do? That would be a good chemistry experiment. And like you go to like the South Bronx and you're like, okay, I know you guys have been struggling with the concept of chemistry. Here is a rock of crack. Here is a testing kit. What percentage of the crack is fentanyl? And the kids somehow they're like, Mr. Metcalfe, we found out it was 37% fentanyl. And then you find out they're better at it than the cops.
Well, right. Well, that's what I heard some comedian. I don't know where the fuck I heard this joke, but I heard some comedian be like, the United States is the only country where if your kid knows the metric system, that also means that they're into drugs.
Yes.
The minute you know metric system measurements, it's like, all right, what drugs are you involved in?
What your kid knows how many liters go into a quart.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's how it works.
I think quarts go into liters. And also quarts I don't think is a metric system.
That's even better.
I don't even think that's part of the metric system.
Both systems.
Yeah, oh yeah. I like to do my cocaine in pounds. Fuck kilos.
That's right. Not stones.
Stones?
The British weigh things in stones.
Oh, of course they got their own
Yeah, I
thing.
know.
Well, of course we got our own thing too. It is kind of obnoxious that
Well,
the
it's from
United
them.
States. What do you mean?
The foot? You know the history
Yeah, but
of
I
the
don't
foot?
think their foot the same as ours?
No, they don't use a foot anymore. They use a meter.
Right, they use the metric system.
Right.
But of course, we're the only country in the world that uses.
But we only use it because they brought it over.
Wait, was it you that when we got stuck on this? Do all countries, recognize numbers the same? Do they all have the same? If I go to China and I start writing the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, they're not using a different symbols for those numbers.
Well, if we're talking China specifically, they're pretty good at numbers.
Right, but are they writing down different numbers?
To my knowledge, yes. Numbers are universal.
I understand
As
that,
well as
but I
music.
mean the symbol for the number.
Yeah.
They're using different ones than us. So a kid taking a math test.
No, math is universal.
Right. That part I get.
I don't know if you do.
The thing they're writing on the paper.
Yes. The signs.
The symbol.
Yes.
It's all the same.
Yes.
They don't have different ones.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay.
Who were you having this conversation with?
I don't know. I was talking to somebody. I was like, do they use all the same numbers? And they're like, why don't we Google? And I was like, it's one of those things I don't feel like doing.
No, yeah. Everyone's on the same page with numbers.
Okay.
A 2, a 3, a 4. Everyone's got it.
But they don't say them the same.
No, they say it some
They say them in
stupid
whatever
way.
dumb language they have.
Some fucking foreign language.
That I don't understand.
And I come to your country, you don't know my language?
Dude, you know what's so fucked up? I've been in this scenario so many times. You're online at a coffee place or whatever here in New York, and it's always it's always with a white foreign person that I have this feeling with.
Okay.
They'll be online in front of me, ordering a coffee, and they're like, "Can I get how do you say cappuccino and how do you say and they're English isn't their first language, and they're like trying to figure out the thing, and maybe they're taking their time a little bit. And then I'm behind them in line, and I'm like, let's go, retard. I'm like, what are you, fucking dumb? Like, and it's like they could turn to me and be like, I am a biochemical engineer. And I'm like, I don't care, Momo. Let's move it.
Yeah, here you're a fucking Uber driver. All right, order your coffee. It comes small, medium, large, black, or with cream.
Yo, it's so I don't care how it goes. And then of course, like if it's not, if it's like some like person from like some person from Africa, like Kenya or something like that, I'm like, let them take their time. They're figuring it out.
Nah,
they're in a new land.
Hurry it up. Everyone hurry it up. The only thing
I want everyone to hurry it up, but I'm like a little more forgiving with like basically someone who I am projecting that is from like a third world country.
Yes.
I give them a little more leeway. I'm like, hey, you know what? You got a little more acclimating to do.
Yeah.
Whereas like, but if you're like some German or like a French or even like fucking like Spain, like I'm like, let's go, fucking idiot.
Next time you see a white foreigner, just be like, excuse me, where are you from? And if they go Albania, be like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I didn't mean to. I apologize. I didn't know. The only thing worse than a foreigner taking up your time ordering something is when the person working the cash register is also foreign, and it's two people communicating in a language no one understands. Yeah. You might as well just be Sims. You might as well be and then you just like hand them a coffee. That's what it's like.
Oh, when you're ordering it from them? Or when you just see them?
Exactly. When you witness two people that don't know English try to communicate in English, when you're not a part of it, it's very funny.
Well, I was going to say, one of the most famous videos of that is those two, I don't know, Middle Eastern guys. I don't know where they're from, but they're British cab drivers, and they're yelling at each other. Have you seen that video?
No.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna have to look it up.
It's like this video. It's like I don't know who's taking the video, but it's from inside the car, so you don't see. I think it's actually the guy. It's one of the Indian guys, like one of the cab drivers holding the phone, and it's from inside the car, and this other guy is yelling at him, and the two of them is like, fuck you, bloody cunt bastard, fuck you, you bloody bitch, fuck you. Like, they don't really, like, English isn't their first language, and they're British, so they're just kind of like throwing the slang around like the wrong way. This is gonna land
somewhere.
It's like, yeah, it's like all they know is that these are like bad words. It's like, fuck you, bloody bitch, cunt, fuck you, bloody bastard bitch. Like, and it just goes on and on and on. It's like a minute and 30 seconds, and these dudes just go nuts at each other, and they keep saying like those 5 words.
And they probably know the same language.
yeah, they probably do. But they're choosing to fight in English.
They're still they're respecting the. They're like, this is the official language.
This is neutral territory.
I gotta curse you off in the Queen's English.
Right.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. It's great.
So how was Kentucky?
Kentucky was it was interesting. It was not as progressive as a city as I thought it would be.
Yeah. Well, it's a state. First off.
Well, sorry, I mean Lexington. So that's where we went. We went to Lexington, Kentucky.
Okay, right. Correct me if I'm gay. Right underneath the Ohio border.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. That's not gay. That's geography. That's a different.
According to my dad, it's all the same.
It's all gay. Geography's gay.
Kentucky's gay. Geography's gay.
You know what, Mr. Apple? You're not wrong.
Listen. Just saw a couple rainbow flags over there. But it is a liberal city, no?
Yeah, and which I didn't expect. Like, so for context, like my buddy who I went with, he's Australian. This is gonna sound really weird, but he's like an Australian like celebrity like TV personality over there.
It's not that weird.
But it just like sounds like it's like a weird thing to say. He's like, yeah, my friend's an Australian celebrity. Like he's been on like Master Chef and he's got like a show on TV there and shit. But anyway, so he was like coming over. He's getting married. His wife's from the U.S.
Gay.
And gay. You want to hear something gay? She's from Nantucket.
Yo, get the fuck out of here with that.
Island, dude. Nothing's gayer than an island.
Yeah, maybe go read a book or something.
But anyway, So I see him a lot. He comes over here. So I was like, bro, he was like, let's go somewhere besides doing the New York thing, because every time he comes, we just like hang out in New York the whole time.
She lives in Australia. I'm trying to.
She
get
does, yeah. But they
really.
Yeah, but like they were coming here to do shit with her family and see her family.
A Nantucket wasp moved to Australia.
Yeah,
her family could not like that.
I think they miss her, but I actually think they love it. They're dope. They like own like all these like sick restaurants and shit. They're like cool. They're not this little like beach cottage family that's like I daughter. You know, they're not like a fisherman.
Right, yeah, they're not
like
on
that.
the wharf, you know.
Yeah,
they're not
they're like a
docks.
cosmopolitan kind of a family living in Nantucket.
So she's in the food industry as well.
No, she works more in like modeling, acting kind of stuff. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, bro.
That's nice.
It's elite. It's elite.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, nothing scumbaggy about the whole situation.
No, I was really trying to poke a hole.
No,
here.
I know, and I could tell, and it's actually they're
No,
solid.
this is
proof.
fantastic.
Yeah, I don't even know why I'm involved.
How are you involved?
He and I used to lifeguard together back in the day.
That's
and just,
fucking ridiculous.
And just like maintain. We just stayed friends, and then as he got his like kind of a little traction going after being on MasterChef, he was able to travel more, and then he would come here and we would film stuff together because I have like a background in like video and editing.
You did Mike
and
Bramante
shit.
special.
I did Mike Bramante special. Check it out on YouTube.
It's unbelievable.
It's like almost at 20,000 fucking
really
things on YouTube. Yeah,
dude, you did I don't know if I already told you. You did an amazing job.
Oh, thanks,
That's
man. I appreciate
A+
it.
editing.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
With you being the only person to do it. Well, you
Yeah,
didn't have a team.
I brought in one person. I outsourced one girl to color correct it because I wanted the coloring to look nice.
Okay, that's not bad then.
Yeah,
All
but
right,
everything
good.
else, yeah, all your boy.
So okay, so
anyway.
so he would live here during the summer as a
There was
teen?
like 2 summers that they had this program where they would like, because their winters are summer, so they would send like a handful of Aussies to New Jersey.
They needed some hot teens in New Jersey.
Yeah, and
some
it was
hot
like
Aussie teens.
Yeah, so there was like a connection with us. Well, they weren't teens. Well, I guess they were like 18, 19. They were young. But so anyway, so that's how we knew each other. And so whatever. So we go to Lexington. He's like, let's go to Lexington for, let's get some bourbon, eat some food, shoot some guns.
What a unique place you're like, we can't do New York. You're like, all right, LA.
Because I live in New York, and every time he comes here, we always spend like 5 days in New York, like going to restaurants and shit. And it's like, why don't we just do something different, man? We're always doing the New York
But
thing.
Lexington?
He picked it, and actually it was fun. I would go back, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of like, it was pretty chill. But so we go, we get there, and I was gonna tell you this story. So we get there, and we stay at this really nice Airbnb in downtown Lexington, which is like, it's a small city compared to New York, obviously, but it's a very small city, and the building is like a pub, and then on top is like it's like an apartment kind of thing, but there's only like 2 big Airbnbs, right? So the first night we go down into the pub to have dinner and drinks, and I go to the bathroom, and the guy behind the bar is like, I ask where the bathroom is, and he points over there, and I open the wrong door. He's like, that ain't the door, other door. And I was like, oh, okay. And I came back. He tells us, he goes, yeah, that other door you open, that's our storage facility, which is, coincidentally enough, this place used to be an old slave trade outpost. And actually downstairs, there's still metal rings on the wall, and we think it's because that's where they used to chain them slaves up to. And my friend and I are like, hell yeah. Like, okay.
In 300 years, you haven't taken the chains down?
Thank you. Bro, I know. Right? And it was like, and here's the thing. He said it like, not like, oh, that's sad. It was just like neutral. He wasn't like hell yeah, but it wasn't sad either. It was just like, that's just what it was. Y'all want another round? Like, we're just like, what the fuck, dude?
He's probably dying for someone to be like, where are the bathrooms? And he goes, oh, over there. Specifically not telling you which door to use, because he's like, oh, when this guy comes back,
I'm going to tell him.
I finally get to bring him to another person, the slaves.
Yeah. I'm going to tell him. So we're like, whatever. We just chalked it up to, okay, whatever. Weird fact.
Imagine there was a slave still there. He's just 300 years old.
Yeah, it's like a skeleton in the basement still down there.
And he looks great.
He's just like a Highlander.
No, it's just like, oh, wow, black at 300, huh?
Yeah,
You're like,
black
you
on
look
crack.
amazing.
Yeah, you look great, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, so this is where it gets weirder. So the next night, or the next day, we hop in a Uber because we're going to the gun range. We're going to go shoot guns. Get in the car. The guy picks us up. He's like, how y'all doing today? We're like, good, man. He's like, oh, going to the gun range. We're like, yep. He goes, man, it's so funny. That building y'all guys came out of, yeah, that used to be an old slave exchange post. And my friends and I are like, yeah, we've heard. Like, okay. Bro, the Uber guy that drops us off, he goes, staying at the old slave exchange post, huh? Bro, like, this happened like 4 times on the fucking trip. People are telling us that we're staying in the old slave exchange post, like that this building, and like we're feeling weird about staying there now, right?
But with how much pride is my question?
What do you mean?
Like, are they like,
they're saying
huh?
it? They're saying
pretty
it.
nice. If you were to buy a slave, you'd probably do it here, right?
No. They're saying it more like as if like they're saying it would be like, now, you know, George Washington used to stay here when he came to Lexington. Like, they're saying it like that.
Okay.
Like, it's neutral. Like, it's like, fun fact. You know what I mean? Like, they're not, that's what I mean. Like, it wasn't like, never were they like, it's a damn shame. That place used to be a slave exchange post.
Like, yeah,
but they also weren't like, man, I miss those days. Wouldn't it be great if it was still a slave exchange post? It was just like, that place. I like just right down the middle.
I like how these people in Lexington are talking about the slave trade post like my dad talks about old delis in Queens. They're like, oh, that's where you're staying? Oh, it used to be a great deli.
Great deli over there.
Great deli. Yeah. Things have changed over the years, and you know it's not that anymore.
Blacks in. Yeah. Clip it. But the sandwiches used to be great. It's like the opposite in terms of timeline
track.
Yeah. Oh fuck! But
that's fun, huh?
Man, that was hilarious. So the last night that we're there, so it was like the second last night we're there. I booked a show while I was there. I wasn't going for comedy. We were just going to like hang out. But I was like, if I'm there, I'm gonna try to see if I can grab a spot somewhere.
Right.
I do this show, whatever. Show's fine. Meet these other comics, talking, bullshitting with them, and they're like giving me like hits of their weed pen and like, well, you know, because like I don't have, you know, weed down there. You know, it's like I don't have like a guy.
You're not an animal. You're a tourist.
Right. Yeah. So, but I did.
The bear has it.
Yeah, the bear. Yeah, the bear's got it. So, but I did bring like this little, like this edible with me, right? It's like a little chocolate bar. So I was like breaking little bits off and eating it. So after some of the comics were like giving me some weed, I was like, hey, bro, you guys want to take some of this edible? It's good edible. Brought it with me from New York. Dude's like, yeah. So I go to open it, bro. It's so hot in Lexington. This thing is like, it's not a full-on puddle, but it's like melting.
It's got to be not waxy. What's the word I'm looking for?
Fudge, kind of. It's like you touch it and it's like on your
oily
fingers.
Is the word I was looking for. Like more than oily.
It's not quite there yet. It still has like a solid to it, but like the chocolate's perforated and it's not snapping off. It's like it's all like
I understand.
Gloopy, right? So I give the dude, I took a napkin. I was like, here, take this. And then I like have the rest of it and I'm like, fuck, this shit is all like, this shit's gonna melt by the time I get home and I'm gonna have fucking chocolate everywhere. So I'm like, and I'm like futzing with the edible. Before I know it, it's all smushed and it's all over my fingers. And I'm like, well, we're just gonna eat all of this now. So I'm like,
okay,
bro, I ate.
Now, what were the milligrams in the chocolate? Let's go back to quantifying drugs.
I probably ate like 75 milligrams.
I don't think that's a lot.
I think it's kind of, from most people, I think that's a lot.
All right.
If you're talking about like Joey Diaz or somebody like that, he'll be like, "What are you, a bitch?"
Yeah, he does like 1,000 milligrams or something.
Apparently, I don't know. I mean, I've definitely been like more out of my mind than this, but it was like, it's a lot. You know, like I usually eat like 1 square of this stuff, and you're feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Punch Bar.
Shout out Punch Bar.
So I eat all this shit, and my friend is like jet lagged, and he doesn't fuck with any of that shit. So he's like, we get home, he goes to bed, and now I'm just like, I'm out of my mind, like high, and I'm basically too high to be alone.
Okay.
Because I don't like being in my thoughts. Like that's
good.
I like, yeah, like I could be like that. I could be that out of it and be around people and be like fine, but like if I'm by myself, I'm like,
I thought you were at the comedy show.
But this is, I got the comedy's over. We did the stand up. We're hanging out at the show.
You ate a whole weed chocolate bar post show?
Yeah,
during the hang.
Because it was melting.
Yikes.
But it didn't really kick in until I got home, back to the slave trade post where we were staying.
I don't know if you heard.
Right. Right. I don't know if you knew, but so we're back at the slave trade post, and my friend's like, dude, I'm going to bed. I'm so tired. So I'm like, great. And now this thing's like really kicking in. So now I'm fucking, bro, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna try to go to bed. I'm laying there in bed, and dude, I'm hearing shit. Like, because I got weirded out because there was like a door in my closet that was locked, and that kind of bugged me out a little bit, that I didn't like.
Are you a ghost guy?
No, and that's the other thing. I'm not I'm not like walking around being like, oh, I feel spirits in the room. But like after you get told like a dozen times that you're staying in a slave trade post and the rings are still there, and you're as high as I was laying in bed, bro. I swear to God, I was hearing like faint moans, but like sad ones, and I was hearing like metal on metal, and I was just laying there and being like, bro, please don't tell me I'm about to fucking see a slave ghost right now.
Well, I think the good
I don't
news
want to
is
deal with a slave ghost.
There's no, at least according to movies and TV shows, there's no black ghost. Can you tell me one time there was a black ghost? Never. They're only white. I don't know why.
Are you sure?
I can't tell you a time I've watched a movie or TV show.
Somebody's watching this right now being like, some movies got black ghosts in it.
I can't name one.
I feel like I've seen a black ghost before.
I don't think
in a movie, not in real life. Thank God I didn't see them in real life.
Not because they're black, just because they're ghosts.
Right.
Right. Just want to put that
I don't want to see
out there.
any let it be known,
color.
I'm not extra scared of black ghosts.
Of course not.
I'm scared of all ghosts equally. But I did it was like a weird feeling to be like, I mean, if they are black ghosts, maybe I'll just be like, guys, like, I had a black roommate.
You thought that was a thought that went into your head?
I started kind of laughing. I was like, yo, if these black ghosts, if there were like black ghosts, I'd be like, yo, I had a black roommate and he lived with me like on his own free will. Like, I swear to God, like BLM.
You think the ghosts keep up with modern movement?
But then I was like, wait, they're not even gonna know.
Yeah, they're not gonna know.
I'm like, but ACAB, June 19th. They got no fucking clue.
Do ghosts only stay in their current time, or do they keep modern?
That's a good question. I mean, if I'm haunting a house and they got the TV on, I mean, I'm gonna watch it.
You would imagine.
Right. That's actually a good question. Are ghosts up to speed on like the current happenings, you know?
Like he's just like, want to play 2K?
So by that logic, if a slave dies a slave, but then, you know, their spirit is still in like, you know, the middle ground where they're still like appearing and haunting, right? They're haunting people or whatever. They're stuck. Because, right, don't ghosts get like stuck in like a location?
It depends on the religion.
I don't think like ghosts are like traveling the world. I think like ghosts kind of like.
That's another great question. Ghosts seem to be.
They're like locked into like. It's always like they're in a house.
But then you have mediums that see spirits and they can see them all over the world.
Right, but that's because I think they're in different.
Are spirits and ghosts the same thing, or are they different?
They're similar. But like demons are the ones that like possess you. So I think demons can
I'm
go
not even
international.
touching demons
They can
right
go
now.
international. Yeah.
Demons, okay. Demons have passports.
Yes, they're not beholden to like a location.
Wait, demons can travel out of
inside of a body, I think. Like, because if you get possessed by a demon and I got on a flight,
well, ghosts. Yeah, but are demons ghosts?
no.
Demons are what?
Demons are like it's like a I work for Damien, the holy host of the hoary netherworld. They're like a soldier of like the
devil?
of the underworld. Yeah.
This is interesting.
Yeah, like I don't think like whereas like a ghost is like a lost soul.
It's not okay. Demon, religious affiliated.
Correct. Like demon exorcists.
Yes,
Possession.
I understand that.
Right. Ghosts don't possess anybody.
No.
Ghosts are just they're gonna knock something off your mantle and just make some sounds or whatever.
Yeah, they kind of seem to have the same shtick, huh?
Right. They just scare you, kind of. I don't think like ghosts like murder necessarily.
I don't know. I think some ghosts murder. Maybe they don't murder directly.
They don't murder directly, but maybe they'll drive someone to murder. Mm-hmm. Like they'll just like poke at you a lot until like you lose your mind and then you start killing people. But I was gonna ask. I wonder then if they, assuming that the ghosts, a slave dies a slave, and then there are ghosts, and then there are slave ghosts, but then they adhere to modern standards. They then does that mean they then transcend to just being just a black ghost? Like they're just not a slave ghost anymore.
And I think, we'll have to go back to the Constitution to answer this. I'm honestly not sure. I would imagine if by the Constitution you're an American ghost, that you're free. But what happens does ghost law and real life law, are they synced?
Probably not. I mean, I would imagine as a ghost, I would actually imagine it as a ghost, especially if you're like, well, any ghost, but especially if you're like not a white ghost, you're just like, an Asian ghost or a black ghost or a Spanish ghost.
No Asian ghost either.
No, there are definitely Asian ghosts.
I've never seen one.
There's definitely Asian ghosts.
All right.
I've seen Asian ghosts before. But like I wonder like I think that they're probably less worried about racial aspects and then more concerned with like the rules of the dead, where they're like, free me. Because isn't that the thing with ghosts where they're like, I want to free me from this place? They're always like stuck there. You always got to like find some weird thing, like a trinket of theirs that's like in a weird spot.
Yeah,
and then you got to like let it
to the
go.
other side.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
That's why they should get rid of those rings in the basement, dude.
I mean, it would
free
help.
those. Get those
It would
slave
definitely
ghosts
help.
out of there.
It would help. Two things could help. It's either they get rid of the rings in the storage room, or you don't eat a whole chocolate bar of weed. Those two things could really help the situation. These are just ideas, though.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, dude. Well, just to be clear, like I'm not normally eating that much. It was just like all over my fingers. Like, what am I gonna do? Like,
It was a perfect storm. You ate a
was
chocolate bar.
and I'm staying at an old slave exchange post.
Classic. I ate a whole chocolate bar and staying at a slave exchange post.
Situation.
Happens to all of us.
Yeah. I said to my friend, I was like, the only way I'd feel less weird about staying here is if I knew that the building was owned by like a black family or something. Like they bought it and owned it. But like I doubt it.
Probably not.
I told this story. I told somebody just like I didn't tell them about the ghost part, but I was telling them about like just like the fact that we were staying in this building and people kept telling us what it used to be. And they were from the South and they were like, yeah, that shit's everywhere down there. Like there's like they're like they were telling me that they grew up on like farmland, and they were like there was an old house that used to be part of like the Underground Railroad that like we just did knock it down and left it there, and how like states do, like they'll mark like a building
it's a protected
right. Whatever. I think there's like a lot of that goes on down there, for the good and the bad of these buildings.
And I don't mean to be a dick to the South when I ask this question. What other history do you have?
The cocaine bear.
That's true. They're like, listen, we got too much slave-related history. Do we have anything else?
Let's focus on.
I stuffed the bear. Yeah, I stuffed the fucking Coke bear.
Let's have fun. Let's get some fun facts down here.
Is that like Lexington's Empire State Building?
What?
The bear?
No. I think their Empire State Building is it's a tie between the Kentucky Derby and the Triple Crown, or
Churchill Downs.
What's that?
Churchill Downs.
Right. Yes. Or the Bourbon. Because that's where right outside between Lexington and Louisville is Buffalo Trace.
Yes. Maker's Mark?
I don't know.
Okay.
And Woodford Reserve. And Buffalo Trace does Pappy Van Winkle, yes, and all those other ones.
I didn't know they did Pappy Van Winkle.
So here's what's interesting, right? I should tell you. So I'll tell you something interesting. I'll tell you something funny. So we go to the distillery, and they do Eagle Rare, Buffalo Trace, Pappy Van Winkle, Fireball.
Pappy Van Winkle and Fireball are made by the same place?
Yeah, and and Sazerac Rye, right? So
that's very southern.
Yeah. So, and they're all made at the same distillery. Here's what's interesting: all the whiskeys start with the exact same mash and like in the barrel.
Yes.
All their whiskeys start the same. The difference is how long and where they're aged, like how high up in the aging house and how long they sit.
Oh,
there.
I didn't know height played a factor.
There it does, because it's all about temperatures and shit like that.
Gay.
Fucking nerds, I know. So we're on this like thing, and I told you like my friend's like he's got like a career over in Australia, and right, his girlfriend, his soon-to-be wife, is like her dad's like deep in the food and beverage world, like to the point where he has like a vault whiskey collection, like that is like
he's into it.
He's very into it.
He's big into it.
So apparently some calls get made. We're down there at the fucking distillery, and we go on the regular tour. And then as the regular tour, and I've had Pappy Van Winkle before, but I've had it like because I worked at bars, and
you're
like
a club promoter,
and I was a club promoter, but like it would be like this one place I used to work at. The guy, my old manager, used to be like, he used to do all his fucking drugs, and he'd be like all out of his mind, and we'd be closing the bar. He'd be like, "Who wants fucking Pappy?" and just like pour Pappy Van Winkle out for all of us.
That's stupid.
Yeah, and we would all drink it. But so I've had it, right? And we're on the tour, and of course we're with a bunch of people who took a bus to get there,
What, you take an Uber?
Come on.
Took an Uber pool.
Yeah, no, just an Uber.
Okay,
an
nice.
Uber XL, because I want the leg room.
I like it.
So we're on the tour, and we're in the aging house, and the guy's like, and this is a barrel of Pappy Van Winkle, and everyone's taking pictures of it. And I made a comment, like, to my friend Hayden. I was like, it's good, but it ain't worth that. It's like not so good that it's worth all the money.
How much is a bottle? Oh, there you go. You're gonna say,
I think it's over $1,500 for a bottle.
No fucking way.
Google it. Is my phone?
You got a phone somewhere.
My phone's right here. So
I didn't think it was that much.
Bro, it's a lot.
I mean, Woodford, I think, is like that's worth the price, and I'm not going over that.
Correct. It's really good whiskey, and it's worth the price. Wait.
I have that Bullet Rye. That's not worth the price. Bullet Rye is big now.
I like Bullet.
It's good.
Bro, $1,300.
That's stupid. Fucking Biden.
There's certain aged ones that are worth $5,000.
$5,000 for a bottle of whiskey.
Those are like 23 year, I think. Anyway, so we do the tour, and then all of a sudden, so I say that, and some lady goes, "Oh yeah, how would you know?" To me. All right. So I start laughing. I go, "I don't know, lady, because I drink."
Did you say that?
Yeah. Yeah, I literally said that. And I just like walked away. I'm not going to get into it with you.
You're like, listen, my dad's a CEO in London. I went to Quinnipiac. Don't worry about it.
Those aren't even the reasons I've had it.
Yeah. Those are just 2 things about me.
Yeah, those are just facts about me. Yeah. So we finished the tour, and then at the end of the tour, they do a little tasting with everybody. Pappy is not included in the tasting.
You would imagine.
So they're like, okay, the tasting's over. Now let's all go. And they're now taking us to like the gift shop area. Because the facility's huge. It's like a small town. It's so big.
Was there a slave trade?
I believe so. No, I have no idea. So as we're going down, this guy comes out and he goes, Hayden, Chris? And we're like, yeah. And they pull us out of the group. The guy takes us into this back conference room that's like, usually for like investor dudes or whatever.
Right.
And the guy pulls out 2 glasses and a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle. And we start taste testing it, talking shit.
You should have pulled that fat Southern bitch in.
I wanted to so bad.
You should cuck her. Fucking whiskey cuck her.
I should have just took some of it in my mouth and went down to the gift shop and spit it in her face.
She would have opened her mouth, that fat pig.
Yeah, you think it's worth it now? Wow. So crazy. I felt like such a baller.
Did you look at her when he called your name?
I didn't see her, but I was definitely like looking at because the group is definitely like, where are they going? And we were just like, not where you're going.
Peace, fucking fat nerds.
Fucking pores.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it was so
That's
fucking
sick.
funny. I'll even tell you something even more VIP that really blew my fucking mind.
More VIP than that?
Yeah, dude, which I didn't even expect. So like my friend and I are sitting there, this guy his name is Lee, he's such a nice guy, talking to us, telling us about the Pappy and all this shit. And have you seen the that series on Netflix about like the heists? The different heists. There's like 7 episodes, and they're each like about different.
I mean, I've seen it when it comes to sports.
Okay, so there's like a thing on Netflix about these heists, and they did one that's about that distillery, the Buffalo Trace distillery. This guy that worked there was like jacking barrels of whiskey, Pappy Van Winkle, and selling them on the black market. That's actually how a lot of people got Pappy before. Like
that seems like such a Southern bourbon thing to do.
It's actually kind of a cool story.
It is.
And they did
when was it?
Oh, like early 2000s. It wasn't that long ago.
Okay.
It wasn't that long ago. So I forgot I forgot what the distillery was. I forgot that it was Pappy Van Winkle. I just remembered that there was a distillery and that this guy was stealing all the whiskey from the distillery, and it's me and my friend Hayden and the guy who works there, and we're just having bullshit conversation, and I brought it up and I was like, yeah, it's like that fucking documentary. What was that distillery where they stole the whiskey?
And the guy was like,
and he's not saying anything, and my friend Hayden couldn't remember. He's like, oh yeah, mate, what fucking distillery was that, mate? Like, we were trying to remember, and we didn't like want to pull out our phones. And we're sitting there trying to remember, and we're like, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then the guy Lee just goes, well, y'all can't believe everything you hear on Netflix. They just trying to tell a story. And then it wasn't until later that night, like, we looked up and we were like, I was like, dude, it was fucking Pappy Van Winkle.
It was him. He was the guy.
It was the fucking Buffalo Trace. And the poor fucking guy, we're sitting there, we're like, what's that fucking joint where they jacked all this shit? And then we rewatched it while we were there on the trip. And I can tell it doesn't really paint the distillery in the best light in the fact that they weren't on top of their inventory. Well. And they have all these interviews with all these people that used to work there that no one who currently works there.
Well, there's a reason.
Exactly. And all the people who used to work there are like talking about, yeah, I mean, it was an unwritten rule. Everyone drank the shit all the time.
I mean.
And it doesn't, I think like it was one of those things, like I bet you Netflix approached them, like Buffalo Trace, to be like, hey, you want to do interviews for the story? And they were like, no.
Yeah, but you would imagine like... If you're working at Buffalo Trace, you're drink. Like,
you'd think, because I even made a joke with the dude Lee, and I was like, Lee, come on, you can't have like a little sample of this with us. He's like, I am not allowed. I was like, hey, but okay, but they must probably give you like a bottle of this every year as like a bonus or something. He's like, nope.
That's bullshit. He's like, because I get 10.
I don't know. Lee was pretty modest, but yeah, I don't know.
What was Lee's title there?
They have there's like a whole department of people who just are part of like the
customer experience.
Yeah, like welcoming people. He probably kind of, I wouldn't even be, he's kind of like just like, I don't want to say he's a tour guide because I could see him like doing other stuff, but he's basically like a historian of like the fucking place.
How old's Lee?
Late 50s, early 60s.
I was imagining that.
Yeah.
Probably just a retired guy.
Yeah.
Retired cop, retired like
something,
post worker.
Maybe something. Or
he's just hanging.
Yeah.
He's like, whatever.
Yeah, he was super nice. But this is, so anyway, so the part that was, so the part that really fucking like, I was like, this is like, because like we've talked on this show about how like, obviously like a lot of scumbag shit, but I also love like bougie shit.
Listen, you're a bougie kid at the end of the day.
Yeah. I'm drinking Lillet.
Sure. I don't know what that means.
It's a French aperitif.
I don't even know what that. Your explanation to the explanation still leaves me confused.
Mr. Happel has no idea either.
No. If it ain't Yingling, we don't know.
So after we're like drinking the pappy and shit, Lee's like, "Now, do y'all want to see something real special?" And my friend Hayner and I are like, "Duh, let's go, dude." So we leave the building, and like I said, the place is like the size of a town, and there's just like these big red buildings all over the place, most of which are barrel aging storage things.
So yeah, barn looking things.
Have you been to like any distilleries or anything like that?
Not in Kentucky,
but
no.
like Ireland or like any of that, like where they age them.
No, I've been in Cazenovia, New York, and that's it.
But same difference, right? They got the barrel aging.
I know what it looks like. Yeah,
houses.
the metal barrels that are doing all the distilling, like the actual distilling.
Yeah, the copper stills, and then the
yes.
barrels that they sit there and age and all this shit, right? So we go to this one building, and it's got like a fucking, all the other buildings we walked into, you could just like walk into them.
Okay.
But this one's got like a lock on it, and like this metal door. Opens the lock, opens the door. And like, I mean, these things are like 4 stories, 5 stories
They're real
high.
deal.
These
Yeah.
Aging rooms, these buildings, right? They look like gigantic barns almost. And normally they're just filled with like hundreds of thousands of barrels. This place, half of it was just gutted and empty. And in the middle is a fucking giant cooler, like a walk-in cooler. There's like on the other half, there's some barrels, but there's just this big walk-in cooler, and it's got this huge emblem. It was like on some like it looked like somewhere between like the Warner Brothers emblem and like Willy Wonka. Like, and it had like the initials LD on it.
It's like what is in Epstein's tomb.
Right, literally, right? And the cooler, it's not just like a cooler. It's got like one of those like pirate boat vault fucking things.
Yep.
That Lee also has to like unlock with a key and like unvault this fucking thing. And he's like, so he starts telling us, he's like, now what I'm taking y'all to is something very special. It's called the Last Drop series.
I love that.
Right? It started, there was a bunch of these rich dudes back in whatever, I don't know, I'm making up a number, 50 years ago, maybe more, who were like, they were renovating this castle in France, and they found this unopened barrel of cognac. So then they were like, well, we got to open this fucking barrel and taste the shit. Apparently it tastes out of this world.
You would imagine.
And the barrel's been sitting there for like something insane, like, I don't know, 200 years, whenever this castle was probably built. So then these rich dudes decide, we're going to go around the world and try to find other barrels of shit in these old buildings that maybe have never been.
What a specific goal to have.
So specific. This is what you do when you have more
that much money, yeah.
than God, right? And I mean, he didn't get into like the logistics of the business side of it, but all I know is that this was like it was a quote unquote, like they would find these barrels and then they would bottle them, and then these bottles are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
If a Pappy Van Winkle is 5,000,
right, then these are worth even more,
50.
right?
We'll go.
So Sazerac, which is like the name of the company that owns all these whiskeys, Buffalo Trace, all of them. I kept calling it Buffalo Trace, but whatever. So they acquire that company, Last Drop.
Ooh.
They acquire it. So now they're like, they are still going around in search of these untouched barrels, but they are also now trying to emulate that with their own whiskey.
So they broke down the sophisticated whiskeys or the old whiskeys, trying to replicate.
And it's not just whiskeys, because like I said, the first one was cognac,
right.
The other shit, but they're doing it with the whiskey. And this cooler matches the climate and temperature and whatever of like Scotland. And they had barrels in there from 1995. And my buddy hated, and they had all these different barrels, because they're not just trying to like, because it's all like a game of figuring it out. What's the perfect combination of mash and aging and climate? I mean, there's some scotches in Scotland where they age the fucking barrels underwater tied to chains, because they think that the fucking salt water has, like, these people go that far. There's like,
that's alcoholism.
The pot stills in, I think Jameson does this. Like when they have to change a copper pot still, they take pictures of the inside of the pot still, because if there's a dent in it, when they get the new one, they put a dent in it.
Really?
Yes. It goes that's how hardcore these whiskey people are.
That's too much.
It's a lot.
Especially for Jameson.
But see, Jameson's so smooth. People underestimate how smooth Jameson is. It is a good fucking whiskey. It just blacks you out. Like it fucks you up.
Yeah, I feel like I'm talking to a guy at a bowling alley right now.
Yeah, right. I know. But anyway, so my friend, so they got like 1995, 97, 98, all the way to like more modern ones. And the guy starts telling us, my friend Hayden puts his hand on like one of the barrels and like leans on it, and the guy Lee goes, "See that barrel right there that you got your hand on? That's worth over $1 million.
That's fucking insane.
You're touching over $1 million in that barrel right there. Over $1 million fucking dollars
for
in a
liquid.
Barrel. For a liquid
that's
more
more
than
than
sitting there from like 1997. I think his hand was on like a 1997 one or something.
That's fucking like oil. That's insane.
Yeah. Here's the even crazier fucking part. He said they haven't figured these out yet, these barrels that they have in this cooling facility. And he says once they figure it out, they'll probably convert the rest of this into a larger cooling facility for this special Last Drop series stuff, because they're still figuring it out. He says they're not even these once. He goes, they haven't even figured it out. And by the time that they do, the owners and all the employees at this facility will be dead.
Oh, I believe that.
This is like,
well, Lee might drop, tomorrow.
No, but like even the guys that are putting this together,
interns.
No one will be alive.
I know, that's crazy.
Like that's how far into the future you're thinking.
It's like alcoholic pyramids.
Yes. Like that's crazy, bro. That's fucking crazy.
Just to get a fucking buzz on.
I know.
They're like, yeah, we have $1 million barrel of whiskey or Fireball.
Bro, you know what's so funny? You brought the Fireball, so they're taking us to the whole facility, right? And it's like, oh, all this wood, the bottles, all these great, because they do Buchanan or whatever. I can't remember the name of that other bourbon they do too. Then the guy goes, oh yeah, and over here, and there's these big metal silos with like black soot coming up from the side of them, and all these like chemicals like not feeding into the silo, but it just looked weird. It looked like a scene from the Area 51 video game.
That's exactly what I had in my head.
And he goes, that's where they do all the Fireball.
Yep. That's the exact way you should have talked about it too. And your group was probably like, oh, we like Fireball.
Some of them were like, yeah, we like Fireball, yeah.
Ugh. That's sick. That's a sick trip. That's worth it.
Yeah, it was sick, dude. Wait, what time is
Oh,
it?
we went over. We're good.
Oh, fuck. I got to go.
All right, you got to
I
go.
have a show.
Thursday. This is out on Monday.
Oh, okay.
The show's over by then. But Chris is hosting.
Yeah, I'm hosting.
All right, bye.